everybody. Good afternoon. I'm Chair Sue Oliva for today, and I would like to welcome you to the March 2026 Historic Resources Commission meeting. The HRC is a quasi-judicial body that is governed by the North Carolina General Statutes, the City of Asheville's Unified Development Ordinance, and Buncombe County Ordinance. We are authorized to hear requests for certificates of appropriateness for alterations, demolitions, new construction, and other work within historic districts, or for the alteration and demolition of historic landmarks and other duties, including preliminary review of subdivisions as specified in the ordinances for the HRC. I will now ask commission members and staff to introduce themselves.
Scobie, residential construction.
Amy Moxley, architect.
Sue Oliva, American historian.
Jenny Bowen, Buncombe County Special Collections.
Rob Mays, I live in Montford.
Cecil Holt, Moffett.
Humphrey, construction, and I live in Mumford.
And I'm Alex Cole. I'm the HRC staff liaison.
I'm Aspen Johnston. I'm the HRC secretary.
Thank you. We will consider the minutes from the February meeting of the HRC. The minutes include findings of fact and conclusions of law. Are there any corrections? Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of last month.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will now begin the evidentiary hearings for the items listed on the agenda. As a quasi-judicial proceeding, the HRC is not setting policy, nor are we soliciting public opinion on the desirability of an application. The HRC hears and considers evidence presented and applies the standards set forth in the guidelines and standards of the specific historic district for that application. The HRC must make its decision upon competent, material, and substantial evidence to determine the facts of the hearing. The HRC will use judgment and discretion to apply the standards contained in the relevant guidelines to the facts. The commissioners, in voting for an item, will not have a fixed opinion not susceptible to change, have a conflict of interest, have engaged in ex parte communication regarding the application. The meeting is now open to the public, but participation is limited to interested parties who wish to provide comment or testimony regarding the proposal. So will all of you who intend to speak today please stand up and raise your right hand? I can swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the information you present during this hearing for a certificate of appropriateness or preliminary subdivision approval before the Historic Resources Commission shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Now we will move to our first public hearing item. Janice, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Janice Ashley, the legal advisor to the HRC. And I see it's going to be a long meeting because of all the snacks.
Thank you, Vice Chair Oliva, members of the commission. I am going to try to move as quickly as I can through my staff report since we've got so many items today. But please feel free to jump in with any questions or if I've missed anything. The first item, the first four items actually on our agenda tonight are old business items. The first one, or the first two I'm going to go through together like I did the first iteration of these two projects for 53 Birch Street, which is for a retaining wall replacement repair at the Riverside Cemetery. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about the damaged wall at the at Montford Park. So just as a reminder, the section of wall in question is about 80 feet-ish long. It's on the east side of the cemetery along the property boundary and was damaged from Helene. So this is a FEMA repair project. We looked at some samples last time around, and it was the feedback from the commission and staff that needed to try to find a sample that maybe matched, a stone that matched what was out there a little more closely. The standards require that walls be repaired, replaced as needed with materials matching the existing as closely as possible. The tricky thing with this wall is that the new wall will need to be a structural wall, and there are grave sites in very close proximity on the back side of the wall, so the project team is limited in terms of the extent that they can excavate, and so the wall needs to be constructed to have a stone veneer. So the applicant has submitted the revised plans with a section drawing of the wall on the left, and then the material is proposed to be hipstone, and we've got a wagon full of rocks back here that Mr. Jaramillo is going to share with you all, so you can see the materials in person this time around. So hopefully that will help on with this wall. And then we also talked through the damaged wall, also a Helene recovery project in Montford Park. This is on I think the west side of the tennis courts at the park. There was some question, I think, about materials for this wall. It can be, it's my understanding, at least from the last hearing, that it can be rebuilt to be consistent with, sorry, I think I grabbed the wrong photos for my slide deck. But it can be repaired with the existing materials. My question is it, and maybe this is a misunderstanding, but it seems like maybe the scope changed a little bit, and instead of just repairing the damaged section of wall, it's now replacing the entire section of wall. And they are proposing to do a structural wall with the existing material constructed in front of the concrete wall. So I did have some concerns about that, just in terms of like disturbance within the site that would cause, and I don't really, it's not clear to me why it's necessary to do that, and the section of damaged wall can't just be repaired. So I'll let the applicant speak to that aspect of things. So any questions for me on this application or these applications? Nope. Okay.
No question. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Applicant.
You're welcome to use my slide deck, but your materials are here, and obviously we named them all different things than what you did, so just let me know if you need help finding anything. Is there something you want me to start with, or do you want to start on my slide deck, or what's?
I'd like to start with the revised presentation that we uploaded during the last go-around. The cover page looks like this. It was our most recent. That's probably it.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right, thank you. My name is Patrick Carmaya, and I'm with RVE. We were hired by the city of Asheville for this project. We attended a previous meeting, and then based on feedback, Tracy, the project manager for the city, and I have been working to address some of the discussion items, and in addition, picking up some stone samples to share with you all. I did want to clarify the wall at Montford Park. The existing wall there was damaged during Hurricane Helene. The portion that is still remaining is leaning forward pretty drastically, so you couldn't tie in this new wall into an existing wall that's leaning, and that's the reason for reconstructing the whole thing, so that you have something solid to tie into, and this whole thing is going to be one wall system that would work together. The wall's about 165 feet long. There was also a question, I think, that came up last time about consistency throughout the park. There is a second wall at the park, and I'll show you which one we're actually referring to. So I can do that now. This is just an overhead view showing the wall adjacent to the tennis courts. And there's a photo here, that shows that there's this lower wall and then the upper wall. And it's the lower wall that we're saying was damaged during Helene and we're proposing to replace. What's that?
I'm sorry, are you done?
Yeah,
Carmen?
I'm here for
Okay.
questions. I'm not sure if you want me to go further, but I just wanted to address that up front.
Okay, great. So the scope changed, as if I understood you correctly, because the wall is leaning and you can't,
No, it was always our intent to replace the entire section. Maybe it just
Okay.
wasn't. And part of what may not have been clear was when FEMA assessed the damage, they identified the portion that fell, but didn't really discuss how it would be repaired or what would be required. But that wall is leaning forward pretty significantly.
and can you use any of the stone from the wall?
So our intent for this wall at Montford Park is to take the wall down and recover the stones, and then if there's anything that can't be recovered, or if you're going to have a stone here and there, to supplement that with some of the stone that I'm about to show you.
Okay,
But largely in reusing the existing stone
okay,
at Montford.
great, thank you.
So basically, you're gonna pour a concrete wall that's like structural.
Yep, that's for the
Pour it-
structural strength.
It'll all come down, there'll be a footer, a
Yep.
concrete wall up, and then you'll just build sort of the old wall right in front of it. So that-
Yeah, that's correct. And
So
and
that-
we prepared a preliminary detail. Obviously, this hasn't gone through permitting, or it's not for construction, but this is just a preliminary detail just to kind of illustrate what that would look like. So you could see there's a structural wall a little bit behind where the existing wall is now. That would give you your stability and actually hold back the earth. And then we would have stacked stones that are tied into the concrete wall for the look, to match the existing aesthetic. And then you would have basically the stones coming up, and then you'd have your earth coming right up against it. So you wouldn't ever see the concrete wall. It would be hidden behind the stones and beneath the earth.
During the previous meeting, you had mentioned that when you did a site visit, you had seen some other part of the wall that had possibly failed. Is that included in this 165 feet? It's a different part
No,
completely.
the wall that's higher up and longer also
Yep.
has a section that's blown out, but it had blown out
Before, so it's not FEMA, got it.
Yeah, and we verified that during our site visit that there is no, and you could see it here, this upper wall, it was damaged pre-Helene, and that's not being touched.
And then you've got some specs in here about having the contractor build a mock-up first, or there would be some kind of
Yeah, so one of the
sample,
things,
basically.
yeah, one of the things that Tracy and I felt that we could do, really just to ensure that this wall looks as close as it can to the existing, there's a few things. So we'll have some sort of experience criteria where we can rank the level of experience and craftsmanship, of the bidders. Another thing that we would do, and we already did, was go into stone yards asking for recommendations for qualified masons, people that are through there quite often and are working in and around the city. So we would invite them to that pre-bid meeting. We can't handpick, based on, we have to go through traditional bidding guidelines, but we can do our best to not only invite but encourage, known craftsmen to attend. And then another thing we can do are specifications and construction monitoring. So within the specs, we would have, the mortar color matching existing, strength, spacing, so that you're not getting stones that are just put up against each other, with no spacing. I think that's maybe more of a modern look that we'd want to avoid. So, going as far as specifying, maybe min and max or an average spacing. Stone sourcing, just in general, the type of stone, the region it's coming from, and then also requiring variety to match what's there now. So we don't want the same stone repeated over and over again. So if they are sourcing anything to fill in the wall because there weren't enough or something broke, that they're getting a variety of stones, and we could put some specifications in there for that. And then a test section, which would be required by the contractor for us to review and approve. That might be a 4-foot by 4-foot section or something, sufficient where we can actually see something before the whole thing is built.
That all sounds good.
I was one of the people that gave you the most trouble last time, but I really appreciate this slide. This is all new information, and that's really helpful. It doesn't mention anything about experience with historic projects, any kind of preservation background or matching to existing. I wonder if you can add anything to that. I mean, do any of the contractors that'll be bidding, do they, profess to be experts or experienced in preservation? Because I think that's a big difference.
Yeah, I think Tracy and I will just have to talk about what we can do on that front, but requiring people that actually have experience with these types
This isn't
of.
necessarily what they see. This is for us.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
This is just for you. You wouldn't want to read the package that goes out for bidding. It's probably 200 or 300 pages.
I was going to guess 100. That's
But
too
no,
much.
this is just really bullet points for the commission.
Okay, I think Tracy wants to say something.
Excuse me. Up to the mic and introduce yourself. That's okay.
I'm Tracy Wyman. I'm the Parks and Rec project manager for this project. It's a really good point that you brought up, the historic criteria, and we can include that in that. As this project goes out to bid, we'll create a chart that goes in the bid documents where the bidder has to self-rank their experience level on several different criteria, and we can include
That'd be great,
your
I
historic
think.
experience.
I mean, there's so much stonework that's been done in Montford that's not historic looking at all. Might be good, but
So
thanks.
sort of add
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I do have one more.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You do mention in the notes that, you call it reinforced concrete retaining wall. You don't really describe what sheet pile techniques involve. And I'm wondering, even in the picture of the wall next to the tennis courts, there's, 6 or 8 feet width between the tennis fence and the retaining wall. And I understand that sheet pile requires equipment that's much wider than 8 feet to get. So is
So-
that?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Just to clarify, our goal is to not have to drive sheet piles to construct this. Our hope is that the wall can be taken down in sections, and then a new wall can go up. At Montford, you have a lot more wiggle room because there's nothing sensitive in front of it or behind it. So you can pull the wall down if there's any earth movement that's acceptable, because you can then restore it. We don't have that luxury at the cemetery, so they're probably going to have to move a lot slower, pulling down section by section, and this is something we're going to work out as a part of our final details, what comes down and what goes up and how that all happens. But our intent is not to use street piling. If there's some major issue during construction where things start moving, then we might have to revisit things during construction, but our intent going into it is to not have to do that.
Thank you very much. That's all my questions.
have like a stone cap. I've been looking at some photos, and some of it does look like it has a cap on it.
Yeah, so the design for Montford and the cemetery are a little bit different because Montford is rebuilding with the existing. So at Montford, you would basically be stacking the stones all the way up. There's no cap right now. What they did was they built the stones up and then they put mortar on top. To put it nicely, it wasn't very, there was no like real finish to it. They just kind of stacked the stones up and filled it in with mortar. We're proposing to, have a solid stone top using the existing stones.
Okay.
And then at the cemetery, essentially just wrapping, the veneer that you have in the front over to the top. So you would have, a piece of stone here, and then a piece of stone here, a piece of stone here, so that, you're seeing the same material consistently between the front and the top.
I have a question for you about the veneer, Patrick. What is the thickness what will the thickness of the veneer be? Yeah, I know you've got your sample, so if that helps.
Yeah, let me show you.
Okay.
Cemetery. You can see here's a typical sample thickness. They do come in different sizes. We could potentially get something a little bit thicker, but this is a typical. Thank you.
So I think the application described that as river rock. Is that what they call that? There was a picture of like a palette of rock that was kind of rounded.
Yeah, so there's river rock, and let me go back to the other one. Biltmore mosaic.
No, but that's for the cemetery, right? Or is that?
Yeah, right. This is. Yeah, this is for the cemetery river rock.
What is the rounded stone that's on this board for? It looks more like the rock that's on the cemetery wall.
So the Stoneyard felt that it was a combination, and I'll just go to a photo here between the two. So they were looking at a combination of some of the, longer, more square, rectangular, and then a combination of also some of the more rounded.
So you're talking about mixing these, is what you're saying?
I believe so, yeah.
So it's a river rock, but it's cut so you can use it as a veneer.
Correct,
It's got a
yeah.
flat surface. And that helps it stick to the wall.
Yeah, it's something you can kind of set in a concrete wall.
Yeah. So you're proposing really a mix of that and this.
Yeah, a mixture.
Because that's what we're seeing
That's
in
what-
the cemetery at the existing wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is a mix of textures, a mixture of river rock, and I don't know what you call it.
And again, we talked to multiple local stone providers, and they really all said the same thing, that it looks like it's a mixture. It's not just one. So that's what they provided us.
So as far as reusing stones, most of them are going to be more three-dimensional than these halved ones. So it doesn't look like much or a majority of the materials will be able to be reused. Is that what you would assume?
Yeah, we think these are much larger, really large, deep stones that would probably be way too large to reuse.
And the reason for that is on the cemetery site, you can't dig back because
Right.
there's a cemetery.
Right, I think we're at some point 3 feet from edges of graves before things have moved.
Yeah.
So we don't have any room to
You gotta
dig
have
back
room-
deeper.
You gotta have room for your concrete wall and then
And the
the
veneer.
veneer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also, at the park especially, you could see everything's still there, and there's a lot more room to work. And again, at the cemetery, there's just not the same condition.
Do we have any ability to have any say in what happens to the materials that can't be reused, but are still reusable in other projects, perhaps? I would hate for these to just end up lost somewhere.
I'm gonna see if I can phone a friend.
That was also going to be one of my questions, just to tack on to that. I was real curious to know, same thing, if you talk to maybe parks about if there's a place to utilize the stone somewhere else, but also that in one of your slides, it says that the FEMA EHP staff are requiring removal and relocation of the existing stone material. And obviously, if you're going to rebuild a new wall, you're going to have to move the material. But I'm just wondering, I had not ever heard that that was a requirement of theirs. Did they flesh that out for you guys? Or?
Right, so on the site visits, we did several site visits for every park during the damage assessment stage and met with various FEMA investigators. And for each one, they let us know that, where are you going to dump this? You need to dump it where we allow. It has to all be recorded and documented. So I don't have all the answers on where this rock will go, but I know that it is regulated by FEMA EHP and by that process. And so we might have options. They might give us 3 options, and, we might have some choices within that, but we, obviously we have to abide by whatever they outline for
We could
us.
add that as a condition that we kind of, whatever that is, TBD, and confirm with staff once it's been established. The reason why I asked that is because the EHP stands for Environmental Historic Preservation. So it would surprise me if they were like, sure, just go dump it in this landfill over here, but I don't know. I've never seen the.
Yeah, and how does that feed into preserving it
Yeah, so
somewhere?
I think we could, if the commission's okay with that, leave that open-ended, and then we can just. add
Yeah,
as a
I would strongly urge that somehow we reuse this material in another public project of some sort, if possible. Those are very historic stones. I do believe they go back to when the cemetery was first founded at the turn of the century. So who knows what you're going to find when you start pulling it apart, honestly. Have fun and yeah, try and hold on to it if you can.
Yeah, I would love to reuse those stones in a meaningful project, a public project, like you said. And I guess just let us know how you want to, if you want to stipulate us letting you know everything we learn about that and what we can do and what our restrictions are or opportunities are when we get to that stage in the process. We can certainly do that.
Yeah, I think just follow back up with staff and let us know through that. Thank you.
And what's that stone called, the flat stone?
Right here? in the corner?
Yeah, that is a slice of river rock.
Okay.
Even within this, they come in different shapes and sizes, rounded, more rectangular, more square, and you could sort of see that in here.
Are we talking about Riverside at the same time now? I feel like it's kind of been blended, the conversation, as far as the cemetery. Like, can you go over that presentation now? Is there anything for that you can share as far as the fence, the chain link fence and all that? I just kind of want to hear a little bit more about that.
Sure, yeah. So we've got a separate section in the presentation for that. So again, we would have a cast-in-place concrete wall. Behind the wall, we would have chain link fencing. You know, it would be in a concrete footing. You know, typical, you know, concrete footing behind the wall. And then same thing, you know, concrete wall won't be visible. Top of the wall will have the stone veneer. And then we're, you know, restoring the existing, you know, existing area that's both in front of the wall, and then if there's a small strip behind, that would all be restored, regraded, and reseeded.
There's already a chain link that's there, so you'll go back with chain link.
Yeah, just go back to match. Yeah.
It's not going to look like this, like encased in chicken wire or whatever that is. It's going to actually look just halved and veneered, right? It's not, the chicken wire won't be in that.
I think that's just the pallet.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Sitting at the
That would be
backyard.
very unsightly to me.
Yeah, these are,
She said there won't be any wire on the outside of the
Yeah,
fence.
I just
Oh,
want
the
to,
outside of the wall.
no, those are just different hatches to represent.
got it.
Yep. No, it would be a typical chain link fence, just like is there right now.
And so we're again not trying to do any sheet piling, so it won't be as much of a hindrance to our Montford neighbors who would have to deal with the equipment of obviously coming onto their property, right?
Right, it's really difficult to get equipment back there,
Yeah.
so we're trying to avoid that at all costs. You obviously can't get it there from the high side, and from the low side, there would be, it would just be really disruptive to the property owners.
And would we lose any trees in this process?
Nothing more than what's already been
Found.
removed, you know,
Okay.
post-Helene.
That's included in the CA description, though, just FYI, because we haven't issued a CA for the tree removal yet. They've already come out, though.
Okay.
How long is the fence and how tall is the fence?
The actual chain link fence. So the chain link fence, I believe, runs the same length as the wall. So the only section we would be concerned about would be the 80 feet along the wall, and then I have to go back and look. I don't know if it's a 6 or an 8 foot fence.
The max fence height in the district is 6 feet.
Maybe even less. What we would just propose, I think, to put back what's there.
Okay. We just need to confirm the details, though, for the approval, so we'll just make that a condition as
Okay.
well. And it needs to be, it looks like it's what's there anyway, but it needs to be dark color.
Okay.
That cemetery on both sides is surrounded by chain link fence, which, except for some holes that have been blown in it. So if the existing, Alex, are you saying if the existing fence is all 8 feet, they're gonna have to come back and that one section's gonna need to be 6?
I don't
Or-
think they know how tall the fencing is. I didn't.
I'm just asking if that is the circumstance, is that?
At that point in the peripheral fence, there's fence all the way around the cemetery almost. The chain link fence is black vinyl coated, and it's all a certain height, like right in here.
Yeah,
And that's what would be replaced.
I'm fine with that, yeah.
It would not be any taller or any shorter than what's there.
Okay.
And what's there, it was newish, so it's no, and like, you know, Alex said, we can provide these details, but it's new enough that I'm pretty sure that it abides by the current requirements.
Any other questions or comments for the applicant? Thank you. Okay, I'm going to open the floor for public Yes, you can have your rocks. Yes, you may take them.
Just need to take some pictures real quick.
Is there anyone that wants to speak about this? Any public comment? Okay, I'm going to close the floor for public comment, and we'll move on to the next item in the agenda. Alex?
Not yet, not yet. We need to talk about it.
Oh, we do need to, sorry, I'm a little rusty, little rusty.
You're great, you're doing great.
So how are we feeling, commissioners, about this? Are we, yes?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, they addressed our concerns from last time.
Alex, any other comment from you? You're good? Okay. All right, we are ready for a motion. Someone who wants, do you want to read it? Sorry, let me keep you moving.
I'd like to make a motion. Chairman, based upon the evidence presented to this commission, including Exhibit A, application, 2 pages, Exhibit B, project description, 2 pages, Exhibit C, proposed wall, material options, 8 pages, Exhibit D, site map, Exhibit E, revised application and project description, 11 pages, received January 21st, 2026, Exhibit F, revised stone specs, 6 pages, received the 21st of January this year. Exhibit G, additional stone image, received January 27th, 2026. Exhibit H, revised application and project description, 11 pages, received February 23rd, 2026, and the commission's actual inspection and review of the subject property by all members. I move that the commission approve the certificate of appropriateness based on the following. 1, that the application is for the replacement of approximately an 80-foot-long, 6-foot-tall section of existing stone retaining wall adjacent to the eastern property boundary damaged by Tropical Storm Helene. Replacement wall will be constructed of concrete faced with hip stone veneer and a stone cap. The trees have already been removed?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I think they've already been removed. Yeah.
They were identified pre-Halloween as needing to be removed.
I'm sorry, you have to speak into the microphone so we can capture it. Thank you.
The trees that have been removed in the last few days were identified Tropical Storm Helene that they needed to be removed.
Okay.
And that was handled by the city arborist, Mark Foster.
Okay. The 80-foot-long section of existing chain link fencing will be replaced with new dark color metal matching existing to accommodate wall replacement. All work will be completed in accordance with approved and attached drawings and plans. All permits, variances, or approvals as required by law must be obtained before any work may commence. 2, that the standards for fences and walls found on pages 37 to 38, landscaping and trees on pages 40 to 41, and archaeology on pages 32 to 33 of the Montfort Historic District Design Review Standards adopted April 14th, 2010, and amended December 11th, 2019, were used to evaluate this request. This application does meet the design standards for the following reasons. A, existing wall was damaged beyond repair by Helene. B, due to existing cemetery site conditions, new wall must be constructed of concrete with stone veneer. Replacement materials for new wall will match the original in design, configuration, texture, material, and color as closely as possible. 4, that the action and improvements proposed in this application before us for the certificate of appropriateness are congruous with the specific historic character of the Montfort Historic District.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Based upon the foregoing findings for the reasons set forth therein, I move that a certificate of appropriateness be issued with the following conditions. 1, relocation and reuse details of existing stone material being removed will be confirmed with staff. 2, fence specifications will be submitted for staff review and approval.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So should we go right to 345, since we discussed that as well? Should we do that now? Okay.
Okay. Hold on.
You want to read it again, Amy?
Make a motion?
Okay, there you go.
Let's see. Chairman, based upon the evidence presented to this commission, including Exhibit A, application site map, project description and photos, 5 pages. Exhibit B, proposed wall material options, 8 pages. Exhibit C, additional site photos, 3 pages, taken by staff January 14th, 2026. Exhibit D, revised application, 5 pages, received January 21st, 2026. Exhibit E, revised application and project description, 9 pages, received February 23rd, 2026. And the Commission's actual inspection and review of subject property by all members, except no one. I move that this commission approve the certificate of appropriateness based on the following. 1, that the application is to replace approximately 185 feet long and 4-foot tall section of the existing stone retaining wall adjacent to western edge of tennis courts damaged by Tropical Storm Helene. Wall will be reconstructed of concrete. Existing stone material will be reconstructed immediately in front of concrete so that the wall retains its current pre-damaged appearance. Any new stone will match existing. All work will be completed in accordance with approved and attached drawings and plans. All permits, variances, or approvals as required by law must be obtained before work may commence. 2, that the standards for fences and walls found on pages 37 and 38 and archaeology on pages 32 and 33 of the Montfort Historic District Design Review Standards adopted April 14th, 2010, and the amended December 11th, 2019 were used to evaluate this request. 3, the application does meet the design standards for the following reasons. A, the wall will be repaired, rebuilt in existing location and configuration using existing materials. 4, that the action and improvements proposed in this application before us for a certificate of appropriateness are congruous with the special historic character of the Montfort Historic District.
Can I have a second?
Second.
In favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Based upon the foregoing findings and for the reasons set forth therein, I move that a certificate of appropriateness be issued with the following conditions. There are none.
Can I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, next old business item is 101 Santee Street. This is carryover from last month's meeting. As a reminder, this is on the very north side of the Montfort Historic District boundary. This is a new construction. I think this house is only like 2 years old. It's a very tight little lot, pie-shaped lot, and there's the property is located across the street from where another street dead ends into Santee, so it makes it a little bit tricky, I think, for the property owners as far as parking goes. So what they're proposing is to install a new driveway / parking pad to the right-hand side of the concrete steps that you see in the photo. And let me go over to the site plan itself so I can zoom in on on the site plan a little bit better. The plan has changed a little bit. I don't know I think I just uploaded the new document to the folder yesterday, I believe. And so it has changed quite a bit, and the applicant has somebody with her that is going to be able to help answer any technical questions, hopefully, because I know there were some questions about how it could be constructed the way it was previously proposed, given the kind of the challenges of the site. I want to go over a couple of just details with you all about the clarification needed on the retaining wall. The notes on the revised plan state that the new wall material will match the existing wall. The existing wall that's there got built without a CA because they had to excavate quite a bit more on the back of that lot to build the house than they originally thought, and as sometimes happens, did not come back to us to get the proper approval before proceeding with construction, and they built a pretty tall wall back there that is built of verti-block. That is not a material that has been deemed appropriate for Montford before, and the commission only ventured to approve it in this case because it's mostly behind the house, and they stipulated that they would actually grout or mortar the wall so that it didn't look like so much like fake stone, and they would also plant landscaping in front of it and maintain landscaping in front of it so you really didn't see the road from the wall. So I just want to clarify on that I'm not supportive of a new section of wall that is constructed of verti-block, especially given that it would be so visible. So I would recommend that it be another material consistent with the standards. Stone, concrete would be kind of what's most typical. Talking, and I can't do two things at once, so let me pull up the site plan real quick. That was the main thing I had, and I kind of wanted to understand a little bit better what the height of the proposed walls is, in part just for the CA approval. But they did, of course, there's the updated landscape plan is included in here, and the configuration has changed quite a bit. So the last iteration was very short and a little more angled coming in towards I guess that would be the front right corner of the house. The new plan takes the driveway all the way up to the side yard, which is much better in terms of in keeping with the standards, which really try to discourage parking in the front wherever possible. But we've, of course, with a lot of these smaller lots that have gotten subdivided, ended up with not a whole lot of option for off-street parking, so we have seen more driveways that were kind of right in the front. But so it's changed a little bit. They're proposing to, I think, modify the existing wall a little bit and then connect into it, and the new wall would be just right along the lot line as far as I understand. So just want to note those changes to you, and I think that was all of the notes that I have. Yeah, and then it might have been taken out of the plan, but in the previous iteration, there was also a handrail. There's an existing handrail that was installed, and then they were proposing to add a handrail on the other side of the front, the concrete steps at the front. And so I just wanted to clarify whether or not that was still included in the proposal or not. So.
Any questions for Alex? Thanks, Alex.
All right, thank you. Do you want me to leave this up, or just let me know if you need me to pull anything else for you.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
I'm Carol King, owner of the property. And again, the reason we need to do the driveway, it's two reasons. One, for safety, so my car doesn't get hit again parked on the street. And the second reason is resale of the house, because we did try to sell it, and everyone said they did not want to have to walk up those steps, with their groceries and stuff like that. So this plan is really good because it takes you all the way up to the flat area, and then you can get out, walk on the little sidewalk that's right next to the side of the house, and you can go in the front door or you can go in the side door. So it's much more convenient. You only have to go up like 5 steps. Teresa Rogerson is the person that drew the plan. She's with Ecology by Design, and she's going to talk to you a little bit more and explain the plan.
Hey y'all, Teresa Rogerson. This delighted me when we saw this option, because what you do is you have your 10-foot apron coming off the street at 11% max grade. You have a short, steep section that is 17.6%, and then you go flat, and you're next to the house. I'm repeating what Carol said, but what we also get by pushing the wall against the property line is now we can have landscaping in front of the wall and coming down from the top of the wall, vines. Currently there's English ivy, there's some straggly stuff English ivy has to come out to build a wall, so then we come in with native vines. We come in with rhododendrons and laurels and the things that we see around here, and arborvitae that grow up and hide the wall. Also, the mention of the railing is no longer applicable because we've already come up the hill. So now we're parking flat at the level of the bottom of the house. Essentially where the number 3 points, you open your door, get out, go up those stairs and into the house. And as far as the verti block, I'm with you. I mean, it's an eyesore. One thought was, hey, let's just continue what we had because it is simple and it's structural up to 14 feet. But in this case, we would be able to have a poured concrete wall that kind of matches the svelteness, if you will, of the curved concrete stairs, so that the overall design of the property is a little more integrated. Because I'm sympathetic to stone, but you know, years and years and years ago, people were laying these stones. We're not going to lay a stone that high, and to have stone veneer, I just feel like it's too many elements. I think it would be the closest or the most elegant solution would be to have a poured concrete wall to essentially match the curved concrete stairs and have a more integrated design rather than chasing after kind of a fake rock look. The one final advantage is looking from the street, you'll see less of that verti block wall. I mean, it's the first thing I see when I see it. I'm just like, oh, God. Can I answer any questions or thoughts?
So it sounds like the new section would be poured concrete, not the verti block.
Yeah.
Okay.
I propose verti block because it's simple and we can just kind of like continue it on. Not getting approved for that, great. Let's have something much nicer.
And it looks like it'll be, is that right? 9 feet?
Well, it'll be less than 10 feet because there's the whole way down, it does not need to be more than 10 feet, which is, you know, the property line limit for height. So it'll be approaching 9 feet down at the road there. We also have coming up from the concrete strips with plants in the middle. The slope, the natural slope will slope up to the wall itself, so you will have this kind of hillside feeling going from the strip up to the base of the wall. So, you know, mimicking what we have around here. What's not on there is that we could put more trees up top, just as a, just to add to the landscaping, to hide it better.
The new section of wall, though, is basically along the property line?
Correct.
Are there any other questions or comments for the applicant? Thank you. Thank you. Open the floor for, we need to discuss this. Does anyone have discussion amongst ourselves?
I think we have to talk about what the wall gets made out of, right?
Yes. And the driveway is the 2 strips of concrete. It's not the, whatever, those cell blocks with grass in between. There's a picture in there. That's not part of it.
Can you come up? I'm sorry.
Tree.
Those are great, but not on a hill like that. And so this would be 2 strips of concrete.
Okay, good. That's probably harder than the wall on a slope.
To build?
I mean, harder to build, yeah.
Yeah, but to maintain, because those
No, I'm not an advocate of those
they're great on flat.
in Montford, but I just was clarifying. Thanks.
Okay, so back to our Discussion? Comments?
It's there to discuss. They said concrete on everything, that's all accepted. They're gonna cover up stuff that we don't wanna see with plants, that's all accepted. I got no questions.
I'll open the floor for public comment and close the floor for public comment. Commission, are we thumbs up? Or we want to discuss anything else?
I'm a little concerned about how tall that wall's gonna be and how prominent, but I can see that it's a big problem that they have. The guidelines allow them to do concrete. So I guess I'm okay with it. And they're planting, I mean, I think they're gonna have an incentive to plant over it
Yeah.
because it's a lot of concrete.
The top of the wall being 9 feet down, but from the parking strip up to where it meets the wall, you're gonna have 30, a 30% grade of dirt. So the part you see down there is 6 feet. So.
So
There's enough space.
a little bit about the landscaping between the new and the existing wall. How are you going to handle that part?
So there are some native rhododendrons planted now. We'll pluck those out, we'll reuse them. There's some laurels, and then whatever. They can go in the back where it says EX. Some of the existing shrubs can go back there. And then really the jog that it takes to get to the property line should be pushed back, and you would see more landscaping to match that in front of it. So from the street, when this landscape matures, you'd see the landscape. You wouldn't see wall. Did that answer? Is that what you mean?
It does. Thank you. Does that answer your concerns, Rob?
Yeah, 6 feet's better than 9 for sure. We should add a condition in there about since the drawing does say new wall to match existing, we should add a condition, I think, that says, it'll be poured concrete, with plantings made to eventually conceal it. I think that's fine.
Both of those are written into the CA language, so,
Okay.
I mean, if you want to request that we get a plan with the revised note on the wall, that's.
No, I just thought that when we do our approval with conditions, that if it was different than the drawings, we would have to say,
Doesn't match the.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Put it as a condition.
if you wanted to like really drill down on it, we could ask for just them to eliminate the note that says new concrete wall on the plan versus new wall to match existing as it is.
Oh, I don't think they need to revise the drawing. I just thought we could cover it in the conditions for the approval.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying it's in the CA language, so like when the motion is read, it's actually in the CA language
So we're good.
before you even get to the conditions,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
I see, got it. Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. Are we ready for a motion?
I guess I'll do my duty.
Yeah?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion. Chairwoman, based upon the evidence presented to this commission, including Exhibit A, application and project description, 4 pages, Exhibit B, photos and proposed site plan, 4 pages, Exhibit C, driveway photos, 10 pages, received February 2nd, 2026, Exhibit D, revised site plan, received February 6th, 2026, Exhibit E, revised photos and plans, 3 pages, received February 19th, 2026. Exhibit F, revised site plan, 1 page, received March 9th, 2026. And the Commission's actual inspection or review of subject property by all members. I move that the Commission approve the certificate of appropriateness based on the following. 1, that the application is for the construction of a new concrete driveway parking area. Driveway will have a 10-foot apron per city standards and 2 24-inch concrete strips placed 60 inches on center. Area between strips will be planted with ground cover. After the fact approval to install square painted lattice trash enclosure. enclosure to be relocated from existing location adjacent to the street to the top of the new driveway parking area. Installation of flagstone paver area between driveway and existing steps. After the fact approval to install a dark color, just on the one side, right, on that?
No, that's for the existing handrail. We hadn't issued a CA for that either, so.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Yeah, it's
Let me
just
get-
for the one side, though.
Did they
Okay.
eliminate the need for the handrail?
They did, but there was a handrail that's already been installed that we haven't issued a CA for, so that's what's in the motion.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, where was I here? After the fact approval to install a dark color metal handrail along east side of steps, construction of new concrete retaining wall connecting from street to the end of existing wall along western property boundary. New landscaping to be installed in area of driveway and wall. All work to be in accordance with attached and approved drawings and plans. All permits, variances, or approvals as required by law must be obtained before any work may commence. Number 2, that the standards for walkways, driveways, and off-street parkings found on pages 50 to 51, fences and walls on pages 36, 37, and landscaping and trees on pages 40 to 41 of the Montfort Historic District Design Review Standards adopted April 14th, 2010, and amended December 11th, 2019, were used to evaluate this request. Number 3, this application does meet the design standards for the following reasons. A, new driveway will be concrete and compatible with the site and district in terms of dimension, configuration, materials, color, and texture. B, driveway parking area will be located so that the topography of the site is retained. There is no access to the rear yard due to the slope of the land, and there is no room in the rear yard. C, new wall will be constructed of concrete and sited in a location that is compatible with the traditional historic relationship of fences and walls to historic properties in the district. D, landscaping between new and existing wall will be planted to maintain screening in front of concrete wall. Is that right? Okay.
block, yeah.
Yeah, okay. 4, that the action and improvements proposed in the application before us for a certificate of appropriateness are congruous with the special historic character of the Montfort Historic District.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Based on the foregoing findings, for the reasons set forth therein, I move that a certificate of appropriateness be issued with no conditions.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great. Thank you.
I do not see the applicant for the next item, Madam Chair. I don't think Ayala's are here.
Okay.
Do we need, if we want to like move this item to later in the agenda, do they need to make a motion to do that? Yeah. Do you want to do that and we can just see if they? This one had a lot of discussion attached to it last time around and they submitted some revisions, so I think we
Okay,
don't want to have it without them.
Okay, so we need a motion to carry it to April, or to what, what do you want me to?
Want to try to later today?
Yeah, just later in the agenda today.
Okay.
To see if they come, and if
Okay.
they don't come, then we can do a second motion later to continue to April.
So can I make the motion, or someone else needs to make it?
Anyone can make the motion.
Okay.
Just, is there anybody here on 265 Cumberland? No. Okay.
I make a motion that we move 265 Cumberland to the end of the meeting in hopes that the applicant shows up.
Okay. We have a second. Favor? Aye.
Did they contact you at all?
I haven't heard from them since they submitted their revision, so.
Okay.
Or maybe like it was last week they emailed me a question, so. All right, so we are going to take a quick trip to Biltmore Village for our first new business item. This is a Helene recovery project for 9 Kitchen Place. And and I somehow managed to leave a picture out, but I did add some photos to the project folder just a little bit ago. So let me pull up the storefront for you. This is a early 20th century one-story brick commercial structure. I believe it was built in 1926. The proposal is to upfit the storefront with more contemporary looking storefront. If you looked at the plans, you'd see that the existing knee wall would be replaced, and there would be like a glass and aluminum storefront that would be parallel to the sidewalk across the front elevation. And then they are also proposing to replace 2 windows and a door on the rear elevation of the structure. There's new awning in there, but I didn't get in the weeds on that. My main concern, just to go back to the photo, is of course that a lot of the early 20th century commercial storefronts did have the recessed entryway with this type of knee wall. And so I am not really in support of altering the storefront to install this more contemporary storefront configuration. I know that you all, when I was out in December, looked at the neighboring building to the left, which you can just barely see the door. I know that door was an original, of course, just like the shake siding on the building to the right is an original. There's kind of a lot of random things that happened back in the 70s, 80s down in Biltmore Village. But the building on the left, just to clarify, where the door was approved to be replaced, not only was the door not original, that building was built in the 1960s, so it's a little bit of a different animal, if you will, than the building that we're talking about today, which was a much earlier building. So the standards note that when replacing glass or restoring windows, maintain original size and shape of the storefront opening. So I noted that I had concerns about that. I also have concerns about the proposed contemporary black aluminum glazing system for this building, and that the standards dictate that window frames should have a painted or bronzed finish. If replacement is deemed appropriate or necessary. And then I also noted that I was hoping for clarification from the applicant on what the existing material is behind. So like this building did have an awning on it that went across where the shingles are above the storefront. And some of these older buildings had like clerestory or transom windows above that carried across. And so I don't know if that's what's behind the shingles, but I would like the applicant to clarify on that point. There is noted in the plans that that would be metal, and it would be shielded behind the awning, but I still think if there's original material there, it would be important to maintain and preserve. I have no idea. I was not able to go inside, so I'm not sure what's back there. I did ask for, again, just the existing material information and more detail for the need of a replacement in the window and door on the back of the building. And we also, if it's deemed okay to replace those, we do need the manufacturer specifications for the new windows and door. And we also still need the, I think I put the manufacturer specification specifically for the gooseneck lighting. The signage, just FYI, I can't really zoom in on my slide deck close enough, but there's a note on here that the signage is not included in the CA request. That will come in later. We usually review signage via staff level anyway, but that's not, just to clarify, not included in here. But the gooseneck light fixtures above the sign are included in this application. And then we also need the paint color specifications for the window and door trim on the rear of the building.
Alex.
it says that their design resembles, what, is that Lululemon for the glass storefront? And did you talk about that? Lululemon?
Their application says that the hardware resembles that, the storefront. I have no idea when the storefront at Lululemon was,
When
if
it
it
was
was
on.
modified or anything like that, but, there's certainly a lot that happened down in the district before the district was put into place, which was in the late 80s. I'm not old enough to remember the 80s in Biltmore Village, but I do remember the 90s, and it was a little crazy down there. So I'm sure there were some changes down there that happened, that predated the existing design standards. But being that the configuration of the storefront is present, I feel like it should be maintained, given that we know what it is.
Is there comments for Alex?
The knee wall at the bottom,
Mhm.
you mentioned that as well. We don't know what's under there.
I don't know what the material is behind the shingle. I'd be interested to know, though, because a lot of times, maybe not with shingle, but I've seen quite a number of houses where the siding has been covered up and the original siding's underneath and it's in great condition. So curious to see if
My
there's.
house.
Yeah, your house, yeah. Yeah, it's got, kind of interesting that I've seen multiple houses in Montfort like that where they were encapsulated with vinyl or some other, like asbestos or something, and the original siding's underneath, but that might not be the case for a commercial building, so hopefully the applicant can give us a little insight on that. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Going to speak that I did not swear in, please stand and raise your right hand. Everybody that's going to speak, raise your right hand and repeat. And I will read you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the information you present during the hearing for a certificate of appropriateness or preliminary subdivision approval before the Historic Resources Commission shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Dawn Dorn from Hercus Harris Design Associates. I'm the interior designer, and I'm here on behalf of Tempur-Pedic Mattress Stores, which is going into this particular location. application. So touching on Alex's concern about the recessed entry, the reason we eliminated the recess in the beginning was just because, I don't think I have this in here. Our fixture layout, we're working with a very, very small store for them. And so their mattresses, of course, shoot, I'm not seeing that in here. And it was going to impede on our fixture layout. So I did come up with an alternate, if you guys would be open to maybe not having the angular entry, but, oh, sorry.
Thank you.
I didn't include this in this because I actually did this yesterday before I flew here, but there is a way that we could recess it where it's more of a rectangular entry, but get that feel that it's recessed off the sidewalk and still allow their original layout to work. So I have a paper of it. I don't know if that's acceptable to pass around.
White thing in front of you will do it.
Doesn't change much, though.
So I've been able to recess that back where it's parallel to the sidewalk. If that would be something that would be more in line with what you're looking for.
So how far recessed back is it?
So it's 3'2", so just a couple inches beyond the size of the door when it's open.
Oh, you're recessing just the doors. But do you have an elevation? It looks the same, it's just basically all glass.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
That's not really the issue. Do you have a,
Keep it easy, so here's.
The sort of diagonal walls because they eat up too much square footage?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of a comparison of the existing versus new, if we need to recess them back.
Alex, you said the building is 19,
I think it was 1929 or 1926. Let me look at, should say.
You said 1926.
1929, sorry.
Oh, it's, okay.
do we have any elevations of that?
Of
A
the
view?
original building?
Yeah, a view of what it would be?
No, but that, I mean, I'm sure that everybody has been in a million different commercial buildings that have the angled, that's super common for that era of commercial building to have the angled entry, recess entry like that. But I dug through like the Acadia book and a couple of other resources to see if there were any photographs of this section of street, and couldn't find any, so I did look on special collections too, but I didn't see any there either. But that doesn't mean there isn't one somewhere, but.
I can't do that. I'm not allowed to go looking. But if she calls me, I can look. So in the future.
Did I call you?
Yeah, not unless you're an applicant, I think, right? I have had applicants come in there and ask for things, and then I have to help them in that purview, but I cannot look on my own.
Got it. So part of, I think, what the challenge is we've got these, 4 or 5 buildings that are all kind of sandwiched together. And this one at 9 Kitchen, and then the one with Jose Bank that takes the next 2, then you've got two after, and those entries are parallel to the street. So it's sort of a mix of entries. And I don't know, can I go back to the photos? Or to the, sorry, that's not here. I'm sorry. Be your problem child tonight. Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Is that what you wanted?
Yes, that's it. Thank you. So right here, you've got the Jose Bank entry that they are working on now, and I actually have an updated photo of that too. But so they do have a slight angle to their entry. But then when you come over here to this part of the store, it's all parallel to the storefront, and then the ones that are down the street, this one, and then the following building is Lululemon, and that is also parallel to the corner there. Let's see here, let me see if I can pull up.
Something, Rob.
And this would be, so this area, if you, everything under the awning, floor to ceiling would be glass?
So let me see if I can, and I apologize. So this is the first time, I'm not from here, so this is the first time I've actually been able to see it on my, in person was today, and kind of relying on photos from other people. But the overall storefront, if you will, is about 10 feet, but the glass portion is at 8'2", and then there's roughly a 24-inch panel up above that currently just has shingles on it that were damaged. And that's what Alex was alluding to, that we're not sure what's behind there. And I think she's trying to upload the photos that I took today from the inside, which is, it looks like it's just wood, and so it's hard to see like what the condition is underneath the boards. So the glass line would line up with the Jose Bank glass line, but the awning is essentially going to cover like from the top of the glass up to the finished opening of the storefront.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I don't think I have any other good ones of.
Did it sustain damage that you couldn't keep? Like, is there framing damage that would prevent
The
you from keeping?
framing's damaged, the glass is all broken. It wasn't tempered glass, so it didn't shatter. You've still got some jagged pieces. That's for both the storefront and the rear of the building. So there really isn't anything window-wise that's currently salvageable.
Yeah, I guess I kind of meant knee walls in the front entryway. But yeah, thank you.
Let me see here. Yeah.
They're kind of vague guidelines a little bit, and I don't, like, it's kind of massing the same for me, like the 36-inch recession with like the double doors. Anybody have anything else?
You talking about like the
front diagonal still masses the same visually to me, so I don't, why no?
Trying to keep the historic nature of the building intact.
Sure.
And currently the proposed storefront is Tempur-Pedic's store standard, which is a matte black finish. And I know, Alex, that was kind of another concern of yours. Jose Bank changed the brown or the bronze to a green, and we would like to try to distinguish the Tempur-Pedic storefront from theirs because they previously were in all three of that space, so we just want to try to keep Tempur-Pedic as its kind of own entity. So, the matte black, again, it's their standard, but we also thought that would kind of fade away, and it's not really, it's modern, but since it's a matte black, it doesn't really have that, I don't know, we were hoping that it would just kind of blend in and just sort of go away. And then the new awning would be the same size and configuration as the previous one, which is the Jose Bank, but it would just be black, so like a matte black fabric with enclosed sides. Let me see if I've got.
Do you need that awning because of sun coming in, or you're trying to?
Well, we were just trying to kind of basically match like what was there. I mean, when I was there today, there is a giant tree that's right out front that provides shade. So, you know, if that's a point of contention, I'm sure we could probably do away with it if needed.
I don't think, I mean, awnings are pretty common to
Yeah.
this style of building and to Biltmore Village for sure.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of how to get them more of a look that they want without changing the building. And I'm curious if without an awning, you might be able to put the sign down, put some lighting and
Be more recognizable as
more,
its own.
you know, modern from where the awning is up and keep where the awning is down, tradition, what it's meant to be.
And the rendering in here by chance?
It should be where the rest of the drawings are.
Yeah, it's just a really small,
Oh, it's not
Copy.
its own, okay.
it's in the proposed, photos and proposed elevation drawings, Exhibit D.
There's, yeah, they're there,
I'm
but
so
they're
sorry.
higher.
Go back.
Yeah, I mean, in addition to like removing an existing historic storefront, this looks super contemporary. This looks like new construction.
I think part of it is the rendering, is because the brick reads a lot lighter than it is, and, you know, cleaner. I think the surround probably isn't as, it does look modern, I agree.
You need more cracks in the pavement and
Yeah, I mean,
sidewalk.
the pavement is quite wavy, and, yeah, so.
The glass also with the black makes it look very contemporary, even aside the colors.
So would it be?
That knee wall seems super important. The angle seems super important to the front design.
So if we can
There's a
keep,
good chance
Yeah, this rendering is.
behind those shingles
Mm-hmm.
is another window. If
It doesn't
even you saw the wood on the
look
backside
like
and you
it.
take that off. there's a
I'm
good
sorry, I
think-
couldn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Your photos didn't come through. I
Okay,
don't
let me see if I can just.
There's a good chance that
Right
the
here.
top shingles, if you take those off and you go on the inside and you take the wood off, that there's additional windows.
Behind the shingles,
Oh.
or behind the awning,
Yeah,
or where the awning was.
it's very common to plywood over those and, you know.
But not brick, because they wouldn't have added the shingles.
You'll just need to pass your phone around then, because everybody is going to need to see what you're.
Under the Elmo, the phone?
Huh?
Could the phone work under the Elmo?
She tried,
Oh,
and
it
it's like
didn't-
there's a glare, so you
Yeah,
can't.
okay.
Can't see anything. I'm sorry,
It doesn't help.
it
doesn't
it's
really
like
help.
You're having a private conversation over there. We can't hear what you're saying. I'm sorry. It's okay.
Well, I don't think that it helps, really. I mean, your words would probably tell us more than the,
Just let everybody take a look, even if it's not that helpful, just, you know.
We have to see it.
But if you had looked at the historic guidelines in the Biltmore Village standards, it does say that to maintain the historic character of the street front, your building is preferred. And I don't know if you looked at it, but it kind of gives you guidelines and would be not accepting of a new storefront that glass down to the ground or.
Okay. So we want to make sure. Yep.
Page 7.1, IA 7.1, in whatever you submitted, the bottom right picture looks much closer to something that would work than what the rendering just showed.
I'm sorry, what are you looking at?
Right there.
Okay. Do you need to see this? Yeah.
Okay.
One on the right?
Yeah, it just, it's.
Yeah,
so
that's what
much-
I thought too.
It just doesn't look like it's glass to me.
I mean, the buildings were built that way so the light could come
Kinda
through
come
and they
in.
would open so the air could come through. I would be shocked if there's not one up there.
And I don't know, I mean, you'd have to do a little bit of investigation to see if there was glass on either side, but there's definitely glass above the door.
So, yeah, it could look very much like what you have there.
Okay.
And then if you wanted
That would be
to,
more in keeping with what.
well, if you wanted to do the awning or not, but you would
Mm-hmm.
have a ton of natural light coming in because you would have those upper windows.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever material you're gonna have on that knee wall, it very well might be really neat. I mean,
Okay.
It could be granite, it could be some type of stone product that's underneath there. But once you pull it up and you find out, then you can talk to Alex about what options you could have there.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be surprised that they would have taken out whatever the original knee wall material is without like mucking up the whole thing. You know what I mean? It seems like if they were gonna do that, they would have mucked up the entire like configuration of the storefront. So, seems like there's maybe just a little more investigation that needs to happen on the transom and the,
Okay, so we really need to ask the landlord to take off the,
just do some
Plywood
selective
and-
demo for you.
okay. Okay,
Do you want to continue this one and maybe come back with a revision? It sounds to me like the plan that you've got is probably not going to pass today.
yeah,
And
I
so
understand that, yeah.
If,
Okay.
so what you could do is ask to continue it to the next meeting date.
Okay.
And come back with a revised plan.
Okay,
And get either
So,
the landlord,
yeah,
or
have them
hire someone to
take
go
off.
pull up all up above the storefront and pull the shingles off of the bottom. And
Mm-hmm. okay,
identify what material you have down there
okay,
and identify what material you have up top. And if it's nothing, then we can look at a
Not-
new storefront. But if
Okay.
it's from 1920 something, we want to try to
Okay.
maintain that and keep that.
okay, that makes sense. For the rear of the building, we just proposed that we would just match existing, so, and I know we need to I've got the glass specs for the front, and I need to get that from our glazing contractor for the rear, but it would just be, tempered clear glass with wood frame to match and the wood muntins, so the rear of it just stays the same.
I was sort of curious, obviously we can't see what the window on the left, I think that was
Yeah.
just like a multi-light window. Do you know if that one was wood also? I'm just
It
curious
was.
did you have anybody like check out the windows, because most of the historic windows down there survived.
The one on the left is
Curious.
definitely broken. And the one on the right is actually intact. I'm sure it's not tempered, but if it's acceptable to keep it and just clean up the frame, we can certainly do that. But the one on the left was broken out. So that one definitely has to be, trying to see.
And the door that was back there, was it like a?
It's really damaged. It was a wood door,
Okay.
so it's really trashed. So we were just planning on coming in with a, proposing to come in with a hollow metal door, so it's secure, but paint it to match that brown that's back there existing.
Is that in your specs, the hollow metal door?
It is, let me see here.
Exhibit C is just the front, right?
Yeah, I think it's just noted on the plans, but we don't have any.
Oh, yeah, because I just have new exterior door. Okay, so I'll clarify that. I'll make a note of that too. Okay.
Maybe consider replacing with a like wood door.
Or for wood door, okay.
Is there a fire
Yeah.
code on those? Like, does it have to be like a?
Well, it's more Tempur-Pedic security standard that they prefer that it's a hollow metal door. So, I mean, again, we have to defer to what you guys will accept. So if I need to tell them it has to be a wood door, then it has to be a wood door. It'll just be a solid wood door, and we'll just paint it to match, if that would be more acceptable.
Have you discussed a contractor for the project?
They are getting ready to go to bid, but they wanted to see how this meeting went first. So
Okay.
I think
So
it'll
the
be delayed a little
contractor
bit.
could really,
There
could
is
really
actually-
assist and help with all this.
Definitely. And I actually spoke to the contractor who's doing the Jose Bank side today, and he's very familiar with all the requirements and everything. So, yeah. So we're in for the city for our permit right now for the interior part, but obviously pending this approval. So,
It sounds like it probably would, and maybe you just said this already, but helpful to know more information on the doors and windows on the back, like just existing conditions. And I know you said that the door was in terrible shape, but if there's a photo available, even just so we can see what it looked like, that would be helpful. Okay. Just to help the commission determine what's appropriate for a replacement door.
okay.
So.
Will do. Okay. Any other questions or comments at this point we can incorporate? Okay.
So the resubmittal deadline is pretty tight, and I don't know if you might need more time than what the schedule allows. Let me pull up the calendar real quick. So the resubmittal deadline is a week from today for the next meeting.
Get it done.
Okay. And you can always just let me know if like
Okay.
you get close to that date. You're
Okay.
like, we need more time, you can just let me know, and then we can if needed, we can request a continuance at the next meeting on your behalf if you need us to.
Okay.
So that's no problem. But
Okay. And then probably a really dumb question, but someone will still have to be here again for next meeting, right? Okay. Okay. Okay.
So you need to request a continuance.
So may I have a continuance, please?
April.
To the April
To the April.
meeting. Can we have a motion?
I would move that we continue the hearing on the application for 9 Kitchen Place to April the 8th.
I second.
Favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, you have your continuance. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next month.
Okay. Alex, we've had a request that the contractor come with her if possible.
Could the contractor come in lieu of her to save her the travel? Possibly.
Yeah, that's a,
Okay.
Well, if they haven't picked one yet, how can they?
No,
I know,
he's just
but-
mentioning it. He's just mentioning.
Haven't
Mitch-
bid it until they get it approved.
you can, though, for sure. Or both. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. application traveling back to Montford. This application is for 207 Pearson Drive for construction of a new addition on the rear elevation. Just to orient you to the site and to this house, photo on the right. This slide has a photo of the rear elevation where the new portion of addition would be constructed, as well as the existing and proposed site plan. So you'll see on the plans that there is an existing deck and also an existing addition on the rear that would then be modified to accommodate an upper story on the back, as well as a new deck. And I'm not going to get too in the weeds on this one because I don't have any concerns about the proposal, but these are just the first and second floor plans, as well as the existing and proposed roof plans on the bottom, so you can see kind of the difference of the what will be the future roof plan configuration. This is your existing and proposed rear elevations, and existing and proposed side elevations. So I'm not noting any concerns. They're reusing 5 existing windows on the new addition. And it's, I think, consistent with the existing style of the house. It's not, you won't be able to see the new portion of upper story roof from the front of the house. I think it's in keeping with the size and scale of the existing structure as well. And I noted a couple of really minor things in my staff report. I asked for the screening material for the deck, which the applicant confirmed will be lattice, like what is there. And then I asked if there were going to be any new light fixtures, but the answer was just floodlights, and we don't regulate floodlights in this district, just like decorative kind of exterior wall lights. So with that, I don't have any concerns about the application, but I'm happy to answer questions.
Any questions for Alex? Thank you, Alex. Oh, go ahead.
On the side wall, doesn't an addition, isn't it supposed to be set back from the existing?
Well, so it is, because there's that bay, the I guess what do you want to call that, the bump out that comes out on the side. It is set back behind that bump out on the side. Yeah, the commission has allowed for that when there's like a stagger in the wall plane, to consider that as being inset.
That's great. I've never seen anybody eliminate a bathroom on the first floor.
All right, well, I will then turn it over to the applicant then, and if you all need me to chime back in, I will. My slide deck is just here, but then all your documents are here as well. That's all.
Hi. I don't have anything to add since Alex is.
Can you tell us your name?
Oh, I'm Sarah Howell.
Hi,
I'm
Sarah.
of Staley Howell Design, and I am Sarah Brown's architect. And I'm here to answer questions, but I don't have anything to add since the staff is recommending approval.
Okay. Did you want to say, introduce yourself, and then if there's anything
Sarah
you...
Brown, the resident in the house. The only thing I'd add is that we've worked really hard on this. I grew up on this house, so it's really cool to be back here. As Alex noted, we've been paying a lot of attention to the scale, the value, and the respect of the house and the lot, and trying to keep it very true to nature. So we're pleased with the application.
Okay. Any questions? I think we're good. Thank you. Or for public comment. Is there anyone here with any comment? I'll close the floor for public comment. Commissioners, any last words?
Well, the double doors on the rear elevation,
You're asking what they are?
well, it's just, 1/4-inch scale on my screen. I thought we didn't really go
Can you
for
come up and answer that
French
question?
doors. Oh, sorry.
a spec for the door where you can see it much larger. And it's a Pella from their historic series, and it's solid wood, interior and exterior. It'll be painted to match. It's in our application. I got these pages out of order, but it's probably about halfway through the application. So it's not in the architectural drawings, it's just in this application document. Oh, okay, we can look here. Oh, of course, yeah, there it is. There's a door on the front of that building right now that is also just a single light
Is that
on the front of the house,
The south? is
on
that
the south facade.
Yeah, I see
Mhm.
that.
But could be very flexible about those doors.
No, I see.
Generally, it's just I try to find in any line, just the historic series and solid wood.
Yeah, I see that.
I thought the same thing before I was on the commission, but in the last year, we've approved several French doors on the back, on rear elevations.
But and that does match
You
the.
guys speak into the microphone, sorry, it's hard to hear you.
Sorry.
I am.
Y'all are all being really quiet today.
I was just
Soft.
saying, I think among the additions that we've approved in the last year, there have been several that had French doors being added to the back. I also thought before I was on the commission that there was some bar on French doors, but it hasn't come up in my time here.
So the existing door on the north elevation, do you have to save that? Is that historic, you think?
No, the whole,
That's part of an addition?
Yeah, there was an addition done in the 2000s where that facade was altered. So where the addition is going is it's all of that facade is not original, including the rear doors and the side lights.
And then the little window labeled 2A that's got the diamond, it's either fixed or an awning or something. Are you going to do something with that?
We are,
Yeah, that's in there too.
yeah,
Down.
yep, all of the windows have a new home.
Oh, great.
I just have to look at the drawings to remember where 2A goes.
Yeah, it's right there. Cute little lattice window.
Moved it to the side.
Yeah.
I found it. East
Its
elevation.
own way of doing things.
Nice. Great. Is that fixed? Is it operable?
It's a casement now. The diamond pattern windows, are they currently operable? They once were, but I don't, we can.
Which one? 2A. It's great. It looked like you worked really hard to make it all right.
Thank you. I actually designed the cottage that's behind this house, the carriage house. And so I've been studying this house, this building, and Richard Sharp Smith for
Long time. Yeah. That's nice.
It'll be lovingly designed and built.
Questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Say public comment.
Comment?
Is there anybody here for public comment? No? I'm going to close the floor for public comment. Commissioners, any other notes? Are we ready for a motion?
Go ahead,
Who wants to read it?
Chairman.
Yes.
To approve. Chairman, based upon the evidence presented to this commission, including Exhibit A, application, project description, and owner affidavit, 6 pages. Exhibit B, existing and proposed plans, 9 pages. Exhibit C, material specifications, 5 pages, Exhibit D, site photos, 6 pages, and the commission's actual inspection and review of the subject property by all members. I move that this commission approve the certificate of appropriateness based on the following. 1, that the application is for the removal of existing deck and addition on rear elevation and construction of a 450 square foot 2-story addition with pebble dash siding, wood brackets, and asphalt shingle roof matching existing 5 wooden windows that will be reused, and 2 new wood diamond light window which will be installed on addition. 1 pair of Pella Lifestyle wood single light doors will be installed on a rear of addition. Construction of a 13-foot 5-inch by 19-foot 8-inch deck and stair with K-DAT flooring and painted wood railing with 1-inch square pickets spaced 4 inches on center on rear elevation. All work will be completed in accordance with approved and attached drawings and plans. All permits, variances, or approvals as required by law must be obtained before work may commence. 2, the standards for additions found on pages 88 through 89, decks on pages 38 through 39, and windows and doors on pages 84 and 85 of the Montford Historic District Design Review Standards adopted April 14th, 2010, and amended December 11th, 2019, were used to evaluate this request. 3, this application does meet the design standards for the following reasons. A, new addition is cited as inconspicuously as possible and where historic character defining features will not be damaged, destroyed, or obscured. B, addition is designed so as to be compatible with the existing building in height, massing, roof form, and pitch. C, addition is limited in scale and size so as to reduce the visual impact on the historic building. New addition will not overpower the site or substantially alter the site's proportion of built area to green space. D, existing wood windows will be reused. New windows and doors will be wood and similar in design to those in the original structure in terms of proportion, spacing, and materials. E, new deck is sited on the rear elevation and is compatible in scale, proportion, materials, and detail with the historic building. Framing of deck will be screened, is it screened? Screened with? Lattice. 4, that the action and improvements proposed in the application before us for a certificate of appropriateness are congruous with special historic character of the Montford Historic District.
We have a second? Favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Based upon the foregoing findings and for the reasons set forth therein, I move that a certificate of appropriateness be issued.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Thank you.
This application is for 16 Short Street. Just to orient you to the site, the parcel map on the left and the photo on the right is the existing primary structure, which was built in 2002-ish. The proposal is to install a new 15-panel solar array on the south-facing portion of roof. So the roof plan is on the right-hand side. The photo in my first slide was basically kind of looking slight angle, but as you see the house straight on pretty much from the street, there's a pretty big gap there between the structures. So this is actually looking at it from an angle. If you're looking at it from the south where the panels would be placed. I think, I know that this probably would work for the applicant, but I do have concerns about the 9 panels that are closest to the front facade because they will be highly visible. This is the first application that I've seen where we've had like a 1.5-story house where panels were proposed in a highly visible location like this. So I do have some concerns about the panels on that side where they're closest to the street. I'm sure this probably would not get them the amount of electricity that they need, but I think I could probably get behind supporting the panels that would be back behind the dormer towards the rear, those 6 panels. I still think they're going to be super visible, but I'm trying to, as we go along and see more solar applications, trying to, visualize different scenarios that have less of a visual impact to the historic character of the district overall, if you will. But this one is obviously tricky because of the pitch of the roof and how visible it is from the street. So I did note my concerns in my staff report on that note. I did say in my staff report that I'd asked for clarification of the proposed location for the power wall and related electrical equipment, but I flipped back through the plans and I see where it is on the back of the house. So I'm clear on that. So it's just placement of the panels, unfortunately, that I have concerns about. So any questions for me?
Any questions for Alex?
On where the where the
Did.
battery's going?
I did on the back.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I just missed it because I kind of was expecting to see it drawn out, but it's just noted on the plan. I forget what page it's on, but I can pull it up. It's just identified on like kind of the back. I guess that would be like the southwest corner of the house.
I guess that side elevation along the street.
I think it will be around the back. Yeah. I guess it is on the roof plan now that we're saying this. You just probably can't read a tiny lettering, but.
And it looks from the rendering that's there that is that, there are more on the front side of the
Yeah,
dormer?
yeah. The 9 panels are the ones that are closest to the front.
Any questions for Alex?
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. The applicant like to come up? Hi, introduce yourself.
I'm Stephen Pronovost. I'm the owner of the house.
Hello.
From my house, when I can walk within 1 block, I can see 5 other houses that have solar panels visible from walking. At a house at 47 Short Street, which is just down the block, has the exact same exposures as I do. The house is a little bit taller, and it has solar panels on its roof. They're extremely visible.
Do you have photographs of any of those?
Excuse me?
Do you have photographs of any of those?
Callie Hudgens, Renew Energy Solutions.
Okay, this is
Oh, that was I do have a rendering of an elevation drawing of the meter side of the home, which you are correct is on the rear. If you don't mind switching.
You would not be able to see the power
Yeah,
panel or
so
the battery at
all
the
of the
rear of the
conduit
house.
entries would be underneath the solar panels, and the conduit coming back from the attic space would come down and expose on the back roof line, or not back roof line, but on the back wall, which is facing the current tree line. So no exterior equipment would be visible from the street. The meter's not visible, so everything would go to the left. And actually, the kind of pole-looking thing to the right of the HVAC unit is a little bit of a fence, so even the Powerwall 3, if you walked down the driveway.
Speaking directly into
Oh,
the
sorry.
mic, thank you.
I just am naturally
I-
loud.
YouTube doesn't hear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
The pole-like figure on the right of the HVAC unit is actually somewhat of a little fence that blocks the HVAC unit. So if you're coming down the driveway, you wouldn't even really see the Powerwall 3 from that area. And the gateway does not stick out farther than the meter main combo on the rear of home. The 60 amp disconnect is a utility requirement, so it would have to be there. I do have photos, sorry, that is, do you know the address to that one?
Yeah, that one is on Cumberland.
Would you mind right into the microphone?
That house is on, I believe it's at 155 Cumberland, and it has solar panels on the front and the side. This house is number 6, this house is number 60, Cumberland. And the panels are visible from the side on the street and also from Cumberland Place as you're walking down Cumberland Place.
I think I have the other ones that you mentioned. I will happily answer any questions that you have. I have worked pretty closely over the past 6 years with a number of historic districts across the Carolinas, specifically in City of Charlotte, and most recently with you all with our other project that we did, which was a Tesla solar roof installation in the historic district area as well. So happy to answer anything. I do understand that the 9 is quite a concern, but with the other neighboring properties that are also very visible, we would like to fight for them, obviously. But I do think there is other options that we could look at if it does come to that.
What's the total offset?
8,555 kilowatt hours, which actually currently would eliminate his bill completely based on his current consumption. The other caveat to this is it would make him eligible for the Duke Power Pair program, which is a virtual power plant that they've are running right now in the Duke Energy Carolinas and Progress area, with putting thousands of batteries online to help with virtual power plant options.
Just a quick housekeeping note, just make sure to, whatever additional that's up here, like the photos, I know we have the plans, but any of the photos, just make sure you save them and email them to me, because I need to put them to our records. Thank you.
That photo is of 47 Short Street. It's from the my driveway. And that big black line up there, those are the solar panels. All the houses in front of it are all at lower elevations.
Thank you for that.
What would be the, did you look at putting them on top of that dormer?
So I was actually going to ask you, his house is very similar to one we just did in the historic district in Charlotte of the Plaza Midwood neighborhood. And we put them on both of the dormers that were, so on his south. So we could look at, it would not be 9 that fit on that dormer. I can go ahead and tell you that. It'll probably
You speak a little bit slower.
Sorry.
Thank you.
It would probably be 3 or 4 that fit on that roof plane, but it is definitely an option that we could look at as long as it passes structural integrity.
Is there a dormer on the other side that matches?
There's 2.
It would be interesting to know what your loss would be if you put them on both of the dormers and then behind the dormer. Because I think maybe the issue is, we haven't had one like this in my time where, the house really only has 2 surfaces on it, A-frame roof. And so there's no issue of putting it like facing the public right-of-way, which is usually the concern. But then by the time you get to 9 panels, kind of the scale of the panels to the size of the house is pretty large, so it's a pretty, that's what makes it so visible, is just because it's a scale issue, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. The other concern with the other side is it is completely northwest facing, which is not ideal. I mean, that's an easy argument. But the other concern is that tree is heavily shaded with the pitch of that roof, and it just wouldn't do.
Well, I was just thinking the door, I can understand not putting it
Yeah,
on the north
well,
side.
I didn't know if you were referencing the in-between space of those 2 dormers, or were you referencing?
2 dormers on the north side.
Correct,
Okay, sorry.
yeah.
Okay.
I am curious, you mentioned y'all have not had one presented with just a 1-story home?
Yeah, this is the first one, and I know the most, a couple of the ones that you shared look familiar. Like the one I think you said maybe was 155 Cumberland, I think is actually Flint Street. I think it's on the corner of maybe West Chestnut and Flint Street.
It's on the corner of Cumberland Place and Short Street.
Okay.
That's the
Then I'm
one,
thinking
that's
of
the
it-
last one I showed from my phone.
Yeah, and we've approved a lot of solar panels that are on 2-story houses where maybe the roof pitch is slightly shallower or it's less visible. This is the first one where we've had one like this where it was almost a 1-story, where it's lower to the ground, if you will. So I think that's the way one of the things that made this one different for us.
the roof pitch on the house at 47 is almost exactly to the same pitch as my roof.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's a two-story house, so we kind of have looked at those differently in the past, so this is.
I am curious, just to ask y'all a question. Clearly standing here in front of the neighboring property, it's extremely visible, but walking 3 to 4 houses down, I'm not familiar with the street. Is it as visible as the one that is visible from his yard down the road? Would be my question.
Answer that.
So the standards start off with this statement that says that solar energy collectors shall be located as inconspicuously as possible while allowing for reasonable use. So, I think this proposed installation is possible if you showed it was as inconspicuous as possible. And so
Yeah.
that's the question, is there an alternative arrangement, maybe where some of the panels go on the dormer, maybe where some of them go on the north side, and they're not quite as productive, but they do get some power, and you still get what you're looking for.
So it doesn't need to be inconspicuous down the street.
Well,
So is that a weird gray area?
so under the standard is sort of case by case in the sense that it says as inconspicuously as possible, and that's going to be different on every house. And I didn't draft this. I'm not sure that's what I would have said, but that's what it says.
I would note also too, I'm not looking at the other house has like a very dark gray color roof. Also something to point out, in the standards, if you continue reading, say, beyond what Commissioner May said, and there is not a detrimental impact to the integrity of the neighborhood. It also says historic structure, but we're not talking about a historic structure in this case, of course, but I think you also have to consider the individual building, site, et cetera, and the visibility, but also then how, like, the impact over time to the integrity of the district.
Well, that standard actually is only talking about solar devices on roofs facing the primary public right-of-way. I wouldn't call this that. I mean, it is prominent from the right-of-way, but it's not on the slope of there is no slope of this roof facing the public right-of-way. So I don't think that standard applies. But I do think the other standard applies, and if this may be as inconspicuous as possible. I don't know, but I'm not a solar expert,
Yeah.
So
It
maybe
is.
if you had alternative
Yeah.
arrangements and showed us what the load was, because there's probably some you've got to get to some minimum to hit this Duke thing and get the subsidy on your battery.
There's actually no minimum. It's for all new solar and energy storage systems going in North Carolina with Duke Energy. It's just a return on investment at that point for the homeowner, if it makes sense, with the
Yeah.
change in production. I'm more than happy, I'll leave it to you, it is your investment at the end of the day, to revisit the dormers. If that is, I will leave that to you, though, or we can
Excuse me.
go right ahead.
I had previously looked into solar when I bought the house 5 years ago, and there was a proposal about putting some panels on the back, but still had the same panels on the front that you currently see. And when they did the study of it, wasn't worth it. The exposure
North side.
on that side of the house did not pay.
Sorry, I don't understand. So it would have some on the south side, but also some on the north, or just it was all
What's
of it?
facing, what you see here, the facing is it's a southeast exposure, pretty
Right.
much south. The other side of the house is a northwest exposure. There's also shade trees on other property over there.
Yeah,
It
no,
just doesn't pay.
I'm not suggesting that you move every panel over to the other side. I was just suggesting, could you move some of the panels to the other side?
If, as long as I can get,
Yeah, and that's what I don't know.
I will say the energy efficiency of panels has gotten better in 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
Is it reasonable to ask for the solar panels to be set on the on the north side, but say on some kind of armature where it stands up and faces the south?
I don't think your property's large enough for that.
Everybody else just wants them flat on the roof.
Correct.
That's what the standards require. They say that
We
they
also
should
don't
be
install it.
They need to be.
Okay, I have one more
mounted as
question.
flush as possible.
Depending on the age of your roof, if you were willing to replace it with a darker shingle.
It's all brand-new roof.
It is?
It was replaced because of the hailstorm.
Oh.
Spray
Spray paint it.
color.
At least you got a new roof.
Hung up on those front 9 panels. If you could move 4 of those to that dormer, and then 2 and 2 to the less steep northwest dormers, would that offset be approaching 100%, or would it?
No.
Cool.
We're trying.
I don't have it in front of me, but working in it for 6+ years now, I could tell you
No, I
a
believe
north-facing
you.
roof is not going to do it.
I do have a photo on my phone of the house further up the street, taken from 2 houses up.
No, I think you put your phone on the, up there, didn't you?
It's not switched to the Elmo.
Yeah, we saw the photo, or I did at least. You had it underneath the projector?
Mm-hmm. It's a different one.
It's a different one?
Different
Okay.
one. This is 3 houses up. I'm standing on Short Street. We're 3 manufactured homes that were all put in 2002. And that's, you can't even see my, yeah, you can. But there are 2 houses, so this would be the view from Short Street if you were walking down
There,
the street.
yeah.
Until you get to my house, there's a big maple tree right next to the driveway. Once you get beyond, you get close to my house, you would see the view that has been displayed. But if you were walking in the neighborhood, this is what you would see first. And by the way, from that point, you would also see the panels at 47 Short Street.
When you send me your photos, can you please include the addresses of what you're showing? Okay, thank you. That would be helpful.
Any other questions?
Well, it sounds to me like the issue is if you can massage this a little bit.
Correct.
And if that's the case, you might want to ask for a continuance so we can reevaluate this.
I'll leave that up
'Cause
to
I'm
you,
not
Stephen.
sure
Have
we
you
go
heard
through-
from enough commissioners? There's really one commissioner who said, I would discounted that other standard that others may think could apply in terms
Wanna
of the
take a-
overall. So if anybody else had comments before you ask them to continue, if everybody's in alignment that there's just, as proposed, it can't meet either of those standards.
I'm for the project. I think if you
But you have to put it in the context of the standards, so.
Sure, sure.
So who's ready to vote yes on this?
Well, he was
Can-
trying to finish his
Um,
sentence of why, I mean,
It's-
you would want to go through each one talking about a reason, what are others thinking? That's all I'm getting at.
Does it contribute to, I mean, if, this is a non-contributing structure, right?
Right, but the standard that I was talking about, the second piece says, and so long as there's no detrimental impact to the historic integrity of the district. So I think that's what the folks who are in support of the application, I think probably need to flesh out a little bit why you think it's not detrimental to the character of the district.
There is no other option that is possible in this particular house. And I don't see the detrimental impact to the integrity of the neighborhood because we have multiple houses that already have solar panels. And I think solar panels are becoming much more common, and we should embrace solar panels, which is not necessarily part of the regulations, but I am for the project. I don't have a problem with it.
Can I ask y'all another question? Sorry.
What?
Am I allowed to ask another question?
Of course.
This might be dumb. With it being built in 2002, what is the historical value exactly? Just the street it's sitting on, the neighborhood?
The district.
Exactly.
The
With
district
new
integrity.
manufactured
hood.
homes?
It's within
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I.
Guidelines.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking.
Within a box.
On
that's-
page 69, number 4 says, "Non-contributing buildings should follow the guidelines under neighborhood setting to preserve the character of the neighborhood."
Right, which, I'll point out, this actually is not under neighborhood setting. Neighborhood setting is all section 2.
That's correct, but you're still, there's still the second caveat on page 81 that says, if we're talking about a historic structure, that's so long as there's no detrimental impact to the integrity of the historic structure, if we're talking about a historic structure, which we're not, and to the integrity of the neighborhood. And so that's the part that is about like the overall neighborhood, to answer your question, because it is within a district. So we have to kind of look at holistically.
This came up before, where is the 69? Non-contributing structures. Oh, by the way, I realized the other day, this is actually wrong. It says the 1890 to 1929, but if you look at the actual historic nomination, it says 1880 instead of 1890. But well, there is a general standard that says,
Only when no other
I mean,
option is possible.
I guess the question I have is, does this standard for non-contributing structures, so it says number 4 is non-contributing buildings should follow the guidelines under neighborhood setting. All right, this is not one of those under neighborhood setting. Solar falls under changes to existing buildings. So is the effect of this to say that all these other guidelines don't apply to non-contributing structures? I was assuming this was a contributing structure or do we just, despite this guideline, review every structure the same, whether it's contributing or not?
No, I'm not sure I understand exactly what you're getting at, but you're just applying the standards for the standards that are on pages 80 and 81 for sustainability and emerging technology is what, within that standard encompasses the overall district. Like, we're always talking about the overall character of the district. Doesn't matter what we're talking about, whether it's an addition, a fence, whatever. So there's no like dividing that up. When we're talking about like alterations to non-contributing structures, we do apply that section. Like if you wanted to replace your front entry door or whatever, then we would go to that section. But we've never used that section for something like this, where we've got an entire other section that speaks directly to whatever that solar feature is.
And if this were a contributing structure, you would also be factoring in that as well. How much does this installation impact the integrity of that structure itself? But that's the only element you take out of that, because this is not a contributing structure, but you still have the neighborhood consideration. And the idea of whether it's possible at all or to the extent you can, I think you read something that said, can you minimize it? So that might even be a discussion, as you were discussing.
Yeah,
Move
we've been
some, maybe you can't move all of them, but
Some, yeah.
I don't know.
That's where I'm sitting as a commissioner. Try and move some onto the dormer and then minimize the impact around it to make it, just because it is such a light roof, it's gonna stick out. So if you can do anything you can to minimize that impact, otherwise, I'm for it. I think it's obviously we have to embrace solar.
Yeah, I agree. Cecil, how are you guys?
It's the definition of detrimental to the integrity of the neighborhood. What is detrimental and what is not
Well, I
detrimental?
think that's, every person we
Or
have to decide that.
conspicuous or inconspicuous, right? They don't come in tan color solar panels, right? They're all black.
Have we decided that this surface of the roof, quote, faces the primary public right-of-way?
No. It does, I mean, it
Okay.
doesn't face the street that it's
still
on.
prominent, though. You can still
It's
see
prominent.
Okay, I'm just wondering while we're talking about this no detrimental impact on the.
I know,
So if
you're
y'all
always.
wouldn't mind just speaking a little closer to the mics for this discussion, these minutes are gonna be
Hard to do.
detailed.
Sorry.
This is my first one, go easy on me, please.
I could add, the house is, the front of the house is is parallel to the street.
Yeah.
The side of that house where the solar panels is, it's a 90-degree.
Yeah,
on the
I agree. I agree. And if there were a house right next to your house, it wouldn't be as visible, you know, if it was just like the other,
If
but
it
you have
were-
this double lot sort of.
If it was a taller house,
Yeah.
okay? But the house next door to us is a modular house that was built at the same time. On the other side of our house is a historic cottage, which
Yeah.
is also a low building. It's not. It's
Mhm.
only one story. Most of our side of the street, the even numbered side, is all single-story houses. Across the street from my house is a two-story home that was built in 1900, and there's two more houses, single stories,
Yeah.
next door that were built at the same time by the same person.
Yeah.
And then, I'm not sure the parentage of the next house, there's two more single-story homes, then there is the house with the solar panels, which is 2 stories. Well, it's
Yeah.
actually a story and 3/4.
Yeah, it's a really neat little street and kind of its own little sub
Right.
area.
Short Street, yeah.
I have another question. Back to the roof color. If the panels are covering the majority of that roof plane and you cannot see the other side of the north-facing roof from the street, is it really that noticeable if the majority of the roof then looks black if you're not seeing the under part?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
So it's a light color, that's blatantly obvious. But if it's now covered with solar on either sides of the dormer, it then becomes the majority black.
Except for the front porch and the north side and the other dormers.
It'll be black.
But you can't see the roof of the porch, and you can't see the roof of the dormer, and you can't see the other side from the
Panels
street.
cover most of
That's a
it,
good point.
and you won't really see the dormer roof.
Just a question.
I see what you're saying.
Okay, so let's keep moving forward. So where are we?
Well, you saying, are we voting now?
No, we're not.
no.
Well,
Is
I'm
there-
just trying to get an idea if
I'm
it's
for it.
gonna,
I
you're for it.
accept.
Leslie?
If the concern is the 9 array on the front, and you're passing the house, you're driving along or you're walking along, can you put some of those on that dormer and scoot under the array as close to the front of that dormer as possible so that it disappears out of sight as quickly as possible and doesn't show itself until as close to the house as possible? That's all, we're looking for some ground there. That's all I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. It would just come down to his decision at the end of the day. It's his
Totally.
investment.
Yeah, it's all about offset.
But we can obviously look at any portion of the roof. I mean, we install on north side of home that are all the time for customers that are just looking to go green and don't really care about the offset. I'll leave that
If I
up to
could
you.
enter into this, I have a all-electric house, and part of the reason I'm doing this is so that I will backup power in case of, when Duke sent me several notices this winter about possible
Yes.
power outages, I would have at least 3 days of power in the battery setup. So that is the reason why I'm doing this.
I can also attest, during Helene, we had 1,100 systems installed in western North Carolina. Only 9 of them did not operate correctly.
Yeah, everybody's pro-solar.
Then you fixed them. And then you fixed them.
Yes, they were a priority. There's options to make it inconspicuous as possible. I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
Okay, so you're yes, you, just trying
On the fence.
to, okay, you're on the fence because you want to know more information about where the panels could go possibly, or?
Well, did you have any photographs of the panels themselves? Because it's not like the Tesla panels that covered the whole roof and pretend to be shingles.
Yeah, it was Shane Smith's house.
Because we're all using our imagination on what it will look like.
I should have a spec sheet here. That's of the rail.
You had to leave at 6, right?
Yeah, I was
Were
supposed to
you
leave at
late?
6. I am late. But I just have to get down to the wire.
That's the power wall.
You gonna jog?
Right, but I wanna try and get in on this one if I can, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's a solar panel?
That is correct.
It's just a flat black.
Shingles were black.
They can be completely covered with that roof.
What? What'd you say?
You were saying you could just completely cover the roof with, then they would be,
And then you don't see the shingles.
Does anyone ever paint their shingles?
No, we don't.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think
Put
that's.
oh, you mean the asphalt
Tar?
shingles?
Yeah, just paint some tar on it. I don't know.
So
Is that against code?
I would love to
paint
approve this, and I would love to, but with this standard and the way it starts out, I think you basically have to come in with a couple of alternatives, or, 2 or 3, and show there's no other way to arrange this. And, do what, I just think that's how the standard has to be applied. And with the other ones that I can remember since I've been on, it was clear because there were so many angles and turns in the roof that there was no other way to do it. They would be like 3 panels here and 2 panels here, and they had wrestled with that already. So I would feel better about approving it for posterity if we had those demonstrations to show there's no other way to do this.
Or what the difference of
Or-
power would be
yeah, or what the- yeah.
versus the
Yeah,
other
absolutely,
configurations, so that we can make the best bang
I
for
can
the
even
buck.
provide a drone shade report as well of the roof and the difference between the two.
Drone.
Yeah, I think,
For residential sites, we fly a drone. All of our site technicians are Part 107 certified. With it comes a shade report and a damaged shingle report. If you have hail damage, it calls it out. So it'll tell the exact sun axis on that specific roof plane.
yeah, and we've seen those before in
Yeah.
other applications. It's like kind of an infrared-looking image that shows the,
And we can also show it over an annual basis of what the production would look like based on moving the panels around.
So my suggestion would be is that y'all continue this to the next meeting and come back with those things if you want to fight for the configuration you have proposed right now, so that we can really make an informed decision. Does that make sense?
If that's what you need, yeah.
That's what we would prefer. I think that's the best way that you're going to get what you want and we get what we need. Does that make sense?
Well, I think I'm proposing something that you need to make a decision on this. I'm proposing something that you need to make a decision on that's not just for me. It has to do with solar power
We understand,
Well,
and we're
and-
working on different
No,
things
we
right
wanna
now.
s-
and your interpretation of the,
We want to support you, but we also want to mind the guidelines. That's where we are as a
I
group.
understand, but the guidelines may need to be altered at some
We're
Well,
looking
that's,
into
that
that,
may be
actually.
true, but we can't do it right here.
I understand that.
What's the timeline on that?
It's coming. Just kidding.
oh, yeah. You've got how many days to get,
A week. The submittal deadline is next Wednesday.
Is that enough time?
End of day?
Yeah, or
Oh, I could get you something by end of week.
Yeah, great.
Okay, so you need to request a continuance.
to the April meeting.
Request a continuance until April.
Okay, I request
All
a
right, then I'll be
continuance to
here.
the next meeting if that's,
Okay.
Well, we hear you
Can we have a
next month.
motion?
Madam Vice Chairman, I would move that we continue the consideration of the application on, what is it, Short Street? 16 Short Street to April the 8th.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Doing pretty good.
I did get an email from the 265 Cumberland applicants, and they had a family emergency, so they would like to request a continuance till April as well.
Okay.
We're going to have a super long April agenda, just saying.
Oh, some people might show up.
I would move that we continue the consideration of 265 Cumberland Avenue to April the 8th.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you. All right, last one. Gosh, y'all moved fast today. I'm
Just
impressed.
preparing us for next month.
51 Watauga Street. This is a first for me as far as this particular scope of work included in this application. The property in question is on the north side of Watauga Street. On the right-hand side is front elevation. I didn't include it in my slide deck, but I did add a Sanborn map to your application file. We're talking today about the right-hand side of this house with the little one-story part of it that was added at some point. I'm not sure when, maybe 50s, 60s, somewhere in there. So that's what we're focusing on today. And if you visited the site, hopefully you could understand what was happening here. There's an existing retaining wall that I don't think you can see it in the front yard photo, but it comes in to the right of the stairway that goes up to the front door of the house and wraps around the right-hand side. And then this is the right-hand side of the wall and foundation where the wall continues back to where it becomes flush with the ground towards the back of the house. The foundation wall for that little addition was built, as some are, without, historically speaking, true footers or anything like that. So it's in disrepair, needs to be shored up and replaced. So they are proposing to do two things. One is remove that entire section of retaining wall, grade out and rebuild the wall using CMU and foundation wall with a brick veneer. And then that foundation wall wraps the front building corner. So just FYI on that, it goes all the way across the front of the addition. So that whole section will need to be rebuilt. And the only portion of the retaining wall that's going to be rebuilt is the portion that's coming. If you see on the bottom right-hand side, it's a little bit faint, but you can see the existing retaining walls in the black line, and then you see the retaining wall at the front is the only portion that's going to be rebuilt, and it will be a new concrete wall. These are the brick sample images that were included in the application for the veneer for the new foundation. I'm not sure which one they are proposing to match as close as possible. It will look different because the brick will not be exactly flush with the building plane, and it looks like they're proposing a header course or a course of brick on top of maybe I'm reading the section detail wrong, so I'll let the applicant correct me or provide more information on what's happening at the top of the foundation wall where it meets the siding. So that's the proposal. I did like some rough math here, but I think that the height of the foundation wall would be exposed on that front corner, like beyond the wall, would be about 5 feet. It's about 26-ish inches right now. So this is the first time I've encountered a property where they, weren't going to rebuild with the existing material, and it was going to look, it will look new, with the newer brick. So that's why we elected to bring it to the commission, and also the increase in the height of the exposed foundation wall is also a change from what's out there now. I did ask the applicant if they thought about backfilling against the foundation to rebuilding a new wall that, where you could plant shrubs like what's out there now, but that's not what they wanted to do, so. Does that all make sense? It's been a long day, so I feel like I'm talking in gibberish.
Makes sense to me. Not to me.
Say that one more time about the bushes.
I just said that I did ask them if, did they not want to rebuild the wall along the side and backfill and include shrubbery like what's there now, and that wasn't what their preference was. They didn't want to rebuild this section of wall, so it would just be exposed foundation meets the ground. So.
for Alex.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome to use my slide deck, and then I've got your folder of documents is here. So obviously we relabel everything in our own stuff, so just let me know if you need me to add something first.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Hart Rubino with Kestrel Construction. The general scope of this project is to repair the foundation damage to this part of the house. It is missing a footing. It's single white brick in some areas, and in some areas you can touch it and move the whole thing. The condition with the retaining wall is similar to many historic houses that we work on here in town, where it's got some type of benched retaining wall right up against a foundation. So the footing for this existing foundation is near to the top of that retaining wall. The retaining wall itself is also failed, and it's hard to, let me see if I can zoom this. This section of the wall right here is broken and leaning, which is directly in front of this corner of the foundation. So the soils there are failing, and the intent is to repair the foundation. The access to the yard is very narrow, and what you see in the photo is basically a footpath. The hope here is to get a little bit more access to the front yard, which is very segregated from the rest of the property. And the intention of the owner is to replant in front of that foundation. We just don't know I'm not sure what that's going to be at this point. But that part of the foundation is only seen if you're standing there. It cannot be seen from the road. It's right against a neighboring house. Let me go to my details too. I proposed two separate details for we proposed either a thin brick veneer or a full thickness brick veneer. The thin brick would not have the same plane change as the full veneer thickness, nor would it require the wash at the top, like was shown in the other detail. Like this. So we're amenable to either. I think it's about the same either way. Cosmetically, the thin brick might be a little closer to the original construction.
So one of those is labeled retaining wall. I thought you were eliminating the retaining wall.
Yes.
Except for the one curve that ties into the front of the house.
So we're going to try to maintain the aesthetic of the front with the curved retaining wall and the view from the street, and just improve the access to the side, make the repairs that are necessary to shore up the foundation, and maintain a better access for the property.
So the photo that shows the front of the house, the right side of the retaining wall holds up the soil, and on the left side, it just slopes down to the street from the house. Is that what we'll have after you take away the retaining wall? Yeah, that picture.
Yes, you can't see, the retaining wall is behind these bushes.
Right.
But yes, the look of the retaining wall will be maintained.
Say it again?
The aesthetic of the retaining wall will be almost identical to what's here.
Oh. Almost looks like there's two retaining walls, or somehow I'm doing my best.
The new retaining wall, it shows a stucco.
Right.
With the brick as the water table.
If you look at there's a photo a couple down below that has an orange oval that you've drawn. It looks like there's two retaining walls or something.
Orange oval.
A photograph of the front of the house, another photo down.
Go to
The 13, the last one.
Last one.
Yeah.
That's right. Thanks. I'm just trying to see where's all the soil going to go when you take away the retaining wall on the side.
I think it's the last photo, 13.
That soil is gonna stay there. Yeah, the footprint of the retained soil is, as a percentage of the whole, is shrinking very, very little. So there will be some soils removed with the removal of the foundation, but it would be very little. The bulk of what is being retained there will be maintained. And you're right, this does have a scabbed-on retaining wall in the front of it, and that's somebody's attempt at a repair to that broken section in the
Gotcha,
past.
okay.
Each of those individual sections is falling over on their own.
Yeah.
Comments for the applicant?
You used this brick before, this thin brick?
Stone brick veneer?
Yeah, that's like supposed to look like old brick.
Yes. Have I used it before?
Yeah.
Yes, it's just like the thin cut stone that you saw with the other case
Yeah.
earlier. Very similar. So you still have the mortar joint depth, you still have the brick face. The brick that we suggested more closely matches the original construction foundation brick. The brick that was on this later addition portion of the house is great,
1950s or
very mixed up, so we thought it would be better to go with the originals.
Are y'all planning to re-landscape in front of the wall and the?
Yeah, that was my question. What,
Yes.
the landscaping, do you have, can you tell us what that is? The landscaping?
I am not familiar with identifying what those plants are. The intention of the owner is to landscape it back the way it was.
Okay. Do you need to review that, Alex? Yeah, so we'll need to know what that is, so you could review it at staff level, right?
Yeah, we can just make that a condition.
Okay, great.
Hey, it's Mike, I'm the owner. The intent is to take all of those plants that are currently planted there on that retaining wall, everything except that big tree, which is just too big. We're gonna take that out, they're gonna do their work, then we're gonna put it back.
So are you taking the tree out?
I don't know if it's a tree, it's, I think, a crepe myrtle, which may be a shrub.
I believe the tree was a volunteer, and it's overgrown, it's welcome.
Yeah, oh, well, however it got there, but, you know, we have to ask you about the tree.
Yeah, did that answer your question about?
Yeah. Yeah, you can just let Alex know what you're gonna plant there. Any other questions, comments? Thank you. And because I see no one out there, I'm going to close the floor, open and close the floor for public comment. All right, commissioners, any comments, things to say, ideas? Are we ready to go have a motion?
Well, wait, yeah.
Did you have something you want to say?
No, then brick good. I'm good with that.
Okay. Yep, okay. Someone want to make a motion, read it? Wake up, you guys, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it.
All right, we got it.
Verbiage, I don't have.
Chairman,
Woman.
motion to approve certificate of appropriateness. Chairman, based upon the.
Chairwoman?
What's up?
No, it's okay. I mean, it's chairwoman.
Chairwoman,
It's
that's a good
fine.
point. That's a really good point. Based
Once
up-
we've done chair.
Yeah, chair's fine.
Chair, based upon the evidence presented to this commission, including Exhibit A, application and owner affidavit, 3 pages, Exhibit B, site plans and survey, 4 pages, Exhibit C, section drawings and brick specifications, 5 pages, Exhibit D, site photos, 13 pages, Exhibit E, 1951 Sanborn Fire Insurance Map, 1 page, added by staff 3/5/26, and the commission's actual inspection and review of the subject property by all members. I move that this commission approve the certificate of appropriateness based on the following. One, that the application is for the removal of existing section of concrete retaining wall from side yard adjacent to east and south elevations, excavation and removal of existing brick foundation wall on east and south elevations, and reconstruction of new CMU foundation wall with brick veneer. Exposure of new foundation wall will increase from 26 inches to 5 foot maximum. Area adjacent to front south elevation will be backfilled, and a new 5 foot tall CMU wall faced with stucco will be constructed in an approximate location to wall being removed in front of the house. All work will be completed in accordance with approved and attached drawings and plans. All permits, variances, or approvals as required by law must be obtained before work may commence. 2, the standards of masonry and stucco found on page 64 and 65, and fences and walls on pages 36 and 37 of the the Montford Historic District Design Review Standards adopted April 14th, 2010, and amended December 11th, 2019, were used to evaluate this request. 3, this application does meet the design standards for the following reasons. A foundation wall is deteriorated, needs to be rebuilt, and will be replaced in kind, matching the original in design, detailed dimension, color, pattern, texture, and material. B, new wall will be sited in a location that is compatible with the traditional historic relationship of walls to historic properties in the district and will be constructed of concrete and faced with stucco. 4, that the action and improvements proposed in the application before us for a certificate of appropriateness are congruous with the special historic character of the Montford Historic District.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Based upon the foregoing findings and for the reasons set forth therein, I move that a certificate of appropriateness be issued with the following conditions. Landscaping plan will be submitted for staff review and approval, and exact brick and sample color will be verified with staff on site before construction begins.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay. One other business item that's on the agenda tonight is just to let you all know that even though Chair Hornaday is not here, he has asked Vice Chair Oliva, who will be cycling off and her term will end here in the very near future in August, her second full term. She and Cecil are going to help with nominating the new slate of officers for our upcoming executive committee election, which will be either, might be April, but we may see what our agenda, like we already have 7 items on our agenda for April, not including the old business items that we now have from tonight. So we'll try to see how that shakes out, but definitely need to vote on that by May or June for sure, since the new officers will take their seats July 1. So stay tuned on that. And then the other thing I just wanted to note to you all, and I'll send you an email, but the HRC award is coming up. That's the annual award given by the commission. I think the language, the flowery language that we use is like by word or by deed has, contributed in some way to historic preservation in the community. And that's in the past 10 years taken on a lot of different forms, like, a lot of different types of work has been honored. In the past, 4 or 5 years, I think the commission's given more than one award, so just bear that in mind. And I'll send you out the kind of blurb on the award that also includes some history on the namesake of the award, as well as a list of previous awardees. Shannon's not here, but she did put forth one name, Rashida, I'm going to blank on her last name. I think it was McDaniels, but I think maybe it's changed to Hayes. But she's done a lot of work. She's native of Stumptown and has done a lot of work to try to elevate the history of that neighborhood. So next month, I'll bug you about it. I'll send you guys an email here in the next week or so to bug you about just thinking about if you want to nominate someone, and then if you do, just send me your information on that person. And we can share that at the next meeting for you all to take a vote on that. And then the award will be given at the Preservation Society's annual Griffin Award event, which I think is, do you have your calendar up?
May.
It's May 21st or 24th. I think it's the third Thursday in May. But if you haven't been to their event, it's usually a lovely time. They throw a good party, and so they have graciously let us always tack on our award to their event since they have more capacity to plan events than we do. So, yeah, just be thinking on the HRC award, and we will get that sorted out here March. I think we need to get it sorted out April at the latest, because we just need time to get the awards printed and framed, so.
Okay.
May 21st?
I think that sounds right.
I want to be sure, 2026. Let's see.
Is it a Saturday?
Oh, I just was wondering what that third Thursday is. Yeah, I think it's the 21st.
I have it.
Okay, that's all I had, so anybody, I don't know if anybody else has.
Yeah, it's the 21st,
Of May?
third Thursday. So can I have a motion? Or is that it?
Yep.
Can I have a motion to end the meeting?
Madam Chairwoman, I move that we adjourn the meeting.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?